Good evening, and welcome to the 10th Annual Electroacoustic Barn Dance, hosted by Jacksonville University's Department of Music. I'm Mark Snyder, and I'm the Artistic Director and Founder. If you're currently watching me, you found one of our live streams, but I want to make sure that you can find your program for this concert. Take a moment to navigate to eabarndance.com, and in the menu, click on the link for the schedule. At the top of the schedule, you'll find links to both our YouTube and Facebook streaming channels, along with the Linda Berry Stein College of Fine Arts streaming channel, where you can watch all that we're offering this year with our Performing Arts series and our gallery events. When you get to the schedule, you'll notice that below those are concerts and after-hours orders. If you click on the concert title, that'll take you to the program, and if you click on the date, that'll take you to our Facebook live stream. The importance of the programs this year is a little bit more so than in normal years, because not only do you get the program notes and the biographical information and the credits for everything that we're presenting, but you also have a valuable link to everybody that's participating this year. So the composers, the performers, the visual artists, and also the people that help put it all together. If you're like me, one of the things that I miss most about being with people or having a conference or going to a festival is being able to interact with them, find out how they made what they made, sort of learn from them, or maybe even ask questions about something you read in their notes or their bio. You have to remember, if these folks are presenting at something called an electroacoustic barn dance, that means they're laid back and very approachable. And I'm sure all of them would love to hear from you. Once again, I want to thank you for sharing your time with us. And remember, even though we're virtual this year, there are some benefits, right? Like you can sink back into your favorite beanbag chair, grab your favorite drink, pop some popcorn, and you don't even have to silence your phone. Thanks again, and enjoy.
The Song of Songs is a work by California-based composer Karen Tanaka, who wrote this work for cello and electronics in 1996. The title is a reference to the Song of Solomon from both the Christian and Hebrew Bibles, which is unique in both works in that it does not concern man's relationship to God, but rather love and sexual longing between a man and a woman. This passage of the Hebrew and Christian Bible begins, "The Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for thy love is better than wine. Because of the savor of thy good ointments, thy name is an ointment poured forth. Therefore do the virgins love thee." Karen Tanaka writes, "I have attempted to project this sensual song of love onto the sound of the cello and computer. My intention was to weave color and scent into the sound, while blending the ancient story and today's technology. The sound of cello is consistently gentle and tender." Thanks for tuning in, and please enjoy.
So I have the great fortune to work with Becca, who is an amazing choreographer and really connected with human life and thought and emotion and feelings. We decided to sort of tackle this long form piece, so it's kind of like we're in a committed composer-choreographer relationship, poor thing. But we are sort of going after just mental health. And so far we've completed 3 movements, 4 if you count this, and we're working on the 5th. Depression is next. This is what I would consider anxiety, and that's what Becca is talking about in this piece. So this was just, she and Brian and Tiffany each came over at different times to talk to me about the particular things that they were sort of going through with their own mental health. And so I've used those sort of, I've sort of pulled them apart and moved them around and made sort of a soundscape with them. But this was just so clear. And I just decided to sort of try like this little, parlor organ beat under it, and I loved it. We just sort of clipped out a little bit of something at the end to move around, but, and then Will, good Lord, like his, like those shots of the Florida Theater, and then the shots of downtown, like the top of downtown Jacksonville, and of course Becca's dancing is just amazing. So yeah, I don't want the series to ever end, and I think we've got at least a good year or 2 left. And of course, there's always new mental challenges to deal with and sort of write about to sort of hopefully heal.
I think that the most interesting, or God, anxiety is not interesting. Actually, it's like incredibly boring, which I think is like its worst quality, is that it's just like kind of the same thing over and over and over again, and it doesn't ever like figure out ways to become like lighter or more interesting. It's like one of those human emotions or responses that it doesn't feel fun investigating. It's not even like sorrow where you could like extract some sense of like deepness from. It's just awful. And I figured out that I had an anxiety disorder. Why it wasn't obvious, I don't know, but I figured it out like around my late 20s, early 30s, because I was diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. But then when I look back at my childhood, I can see that I was an anxious child, and I probably had an undiagnosed anxiety disorder, kind of like masquerading as something else for many years. And I think that the 80s and the 90s were a really peculiar time for mental health, and like certainly my parents weren't equipped to help me, though they tried. And so it's like if I knew now what I knew then, I think it would have been much more comfortable. But I can like look back and see specifically how my mental illness like dictated choices that I made. It made me take fewer chances. It made me like timid and scared. It was really deeply uncomfortable. I used to have like really intense cramping in my body and in my stomach. And sometimes I don't know where the mental illness starts and like my feeling, my sensation in the body ends. Like this idea of like I'm uncomfortable a lot. Like things don't ever feel, sometimes they feel okay, but for the most part, like things are like slightly painful or uncomfortable, or my stomach hurts, or I can't like eat certain foods, and I don't know if that is like the chicken or the egg. I don't know if that comes from like 40 years of anxiety disorder, or if that just comes from genetics and that triggered an anxiety disorder. And so that's frustrating for me. I think also too that a therapist told me once that if you live too long with anxiety, it turns into depression because it feels so hopeless, even though I'm slightly depressed. I mean, I have moments of depression, but I'm overall not really a depressive. I more just have an anxiety disorder. But over time, it's so hard to kind of like wind yourself up to battle a mental illness every day that you just get really tired of it, and it kind of ekes its way into a depression, and that can like kind of over time become really crummy if I don't stay on top of it. And it does feel like a almost a meditative practice. Like the number of things that I have to do every day just to like live a normal life are really profound and deep. Like I have to meditate every day. I have to make sure I have enough water. I can't drink too much. I have to make sure I get 8 hours of sleep. I have to like really be aware and control my emotions, my temper, my responses. It's like just kind of becomes exhausting in a way that I feel like not every human being shares. And then I get really irritated. You know, it's like you can't just relax. People are always like, oh, go on vacation and relax. And that's just like absurd to me. There is no like, oh, just shut off and relax. Like, no, there's not that. It's like living like a monk. You have to kind of do the same thing, eat the same food to make sure that the risks that you are taking are manageable, and then kind of like schedule the day so there's not too much downtime, because if there's too much downtime and my mind has the ability to drift, then it can like trigger a debilitating panic attack. Or if I like eat the wrong food and I get nauseous, then it can trigger a debilitating panic attack. So it's just like, I don't know, I think like it's just a real crummy thing. I think that there is like probably, if I thought about it, some aspects of being a person who is anxious that are good. I think I like keep myself safe a lot because I am kind of like risk averse. Like if I will never jump out of a plane. But on the flip side, like in order to do what I've had to do in my life, like I've had to really I've had to kind of like bypass this terror response, like just to be able to audition for a dance company or like move somewhere or like go out on a date with somebody. I've had to like bypass the feeling like I'm gonna die, which is like pretty shitty. Like I got like given this anxiety disorder and this like pretty strong, cool body that has a lot of like weird sensations all of the time, and I feel kind of like trapped in it sometimes. But I also got blessed with like a lot of strength and the ability to like bypass that deep fear, because it is really a terror. It's not just like, it's not even just like I'm sad or I'm scared. It's like terror. And like bypass that and be able to have a pretty cool career. Like at some point I just decided, I don't know, I think I was like 12 or something, where I was like, fuck this, like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it anyway. And so that's still like the two sides of me that I have to always deal with, is like my stubbornness and insatiable drive with this like desire to lock myself in the house.
Hi, my name is Brittany J. Green, and I am a composer, creative, and educator based in North Carolina. The work you are about to hear, entitled Feel Like This, uses source material from a speech given by then 9-year-old Zayana Oliphant at a Charlotte, North Carolina town meeting. The piece conveys the struggles and erasure Black voices face when speaking out against injustice through the intermingling and transformation of timbres. As her gripping plea, "We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this," is repeated in phase, it encounters and struggles against white noise, which in turn triggers the filtering, distortion, and detuning of her voice, eventually leading to the breakdown and whitewashing erasure of her voice.
We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black people and we shouldn't have to feel like this. We are Black
Like Hello and welcome, and thank you for tuning into this live stream of Jacksonville University's Electroacoustic Barn Dance. My name is Anthony Anorca, and I am here to introduce the video Q&K's Queen Solstice. Q&K is a collaborative music duo between myself and producer Philly G of Green Team Media. Queen Solstice is the first track on the Mirror World EP, an electronica album that features bassoon, contrabassoon, and analog synthesizers. Depicting a fantasy world which Queen Solstice has been torn into duality because of a mysterious cataclysm, she must venture into the mirror world through evanescent portals that only open during the solstice in order to release her children, the dragons of the seasons, so that the world may survive. The video is a collaboration with filmmaker Richard Kennedy, and I want to thank everyone who played their part and made this possible. Trinity Baker, Mike Neff, Jeffrey Burdian, Curtis Lyles, Christina Gillis, Tiffany Manning, Anna Kamiar, Salem Winter, and Gabrielle Prieto, with special thanks to paper engineer Katanos. So sit back, relax, and take the quest with Queen Solstice. The winter solstice has yet to come.